From Idaho's News Channel 7, this is Friday Night Football.
Welcome to Friday Night Football as we begin to wrap up the first month of the season. Some season-defining wins, if you will, this week happened. Tust alongside Brady, Frederick, another exciting night on the gridiron.
Yeah, season-defining, I think, is a good way to put it. But when you really look at it throughout the Southern Idaho Conference, maybe as much parity as we've seen in a while.
Conference is up for grabs. We begin with our game of the week. Rocky Mountain traveling over to Eagle for the Herb Kreiner Bowl. The Mustangs are trying to stay undefeated on the season, coming off of a bye. Meanwhile, Rocky trying not to fall to 500 in a scoreless game early in the first quarter. Sophomore running back Noah Burnham gets behind his big offensive line and finishes off a physical drive in the end zone. That made it 7-0. Going the other way, Aaron Zerno coming up, laying the lumber on the quick screen pass. That forced Rocky off the field. On to the second quarter we go now with Eagle. Backed up near their own goal line, Davis Harson connects with Burnham up the seam. Giddy up, the Mustangs are on the move. A few plays later, though, Rocky would rise up on fourth down. Check out this play. The Grizz bat the ball away for the turnover on downs. After the Mustangs recovered a fumble on the ensuing Rocky drive, here comes Harson again. He hits Cal Hewish for the big gain down to the 6-yard line. That tackle proved to be a big one because the Grizz end up turning Eagle away on 4th and goal at the 2. With under 2 minutes now to go in the first half, Isaiah Reed reaches up to the sky and pulls this thing down. It would set up a field goal, which would eventually make it 7-3 at halftime. And guess what? This would be the final score of the game. Rocky falls to 2-2. Eagle improves to 3-0. They get a big 7-3 victory.
It's a pretty crazy defensive battle right there.
I did not expect that, not going to lie.
I'll show you a high-scoring one. We'll head out to Meridian. The Warriors off to an 0-2 start, but they're looking to get back on track against a formidable opponent in the Middleton Vikings. Things starting off very well for the home team. Zeke Martinez lets it fly. He links up with Riley Byington. That's going to move the chains for a first down. Now, Meridian was up 20-6 in the late third quarter, so they have a chance to slam the door right here. This drive continues into the red zone. They look for the short pass, but it is broken up. Ryan Lewis comes through on the tip drill and has this one going the other way. Middleton would pound their way down the field, and they're going to give it to their quarterback to finish off the drive. Cash Weeks calls his own number, powers his way across. They would get the 2-point conversion after the touchdown, and suddenly it's a one-score game. Meridian led 20-14 with a full quarter to play. Now that Middleton defense really making them earn it. A lot of third and longs here, but the Vikings always had an answer. Martinez hits Parker Bunderson to get across the goal line to move the chains. A lot of third down conversions. Couldn't get the touchdown, though. They leave it up to their kicker. DeVito Okito lines up, knocks it through. About 3 minutes to play. Meridian leads by 9, so this one should be over, right? Well, not so fast. Middleton is going to try to fight back. We'll show you Cash Weeks rolling out. He lets the deep ball fly. It's a tough grab, but Colton Severa comes down with it and gets the Vikings set up on the goal line. Now from there, it's going to be a little bit of deja vu. Cash Weeks keeps it for himself, breaks outside, loses his helmet, but he gets the touchdown, and it's a 3-point game after they fail on the 2-point conversion. So it's going to come down to an onside kick attempt. And this one, I got to say, it's pretty close. The fans are holding their breath, but Carver Martin is able to hold on to it. So after an 0-2 start, Meridian gets in the win column. They're going to be just fine this year. Heck of a fight from the Vikings, though. This one ends with a Meridian win, 23-20 as the final.
Bora was looking to improve to 4-0 on the season tonight. They played host to Cuna. It is time to acknowledge that Lions senior Javon Nelson might be the best running back in the state. On 3rd and 10, on 3rd down, they give it to Nelson, and somehow he moves the sticks. That wasn't even his most impressive run of the drive. It was probably this one, just continuing to hit the spin cycle before finally going down. A few plays later, Nelson totes the rock across the goal line into the end zone for the 4th time in the ball game. Kid rushed for 258 yards in this contest. That put Bora up 35-7 from there. Well, they would just kind of fly around on defense. This is Caden Cardin helping here with the tackle near the line of scrimmage. Then later on that same possession, Cale Anderson coming up the middle, gets the sack. Bora blows out Cuna 35-7 the final. The Lions roaring this season out to a 4-0 start.
Yeah, speaking of 4-0 starts, another Boise area team off to a good start out in Nampa. The Bulldogs looking for their first win of the year as they face an undefeated Boise Brave team. It was a defensive battle to start this game off, but sometimes the special teams can give you a spark. Cooper Smith on the return in the early first quarter, breaks to the outside, almost turns this one into a house call. Look at the punt return team throwing the blocks, giving him plenty of space. It finally brings a whole gang of Bulldogs to bring him down. From there, the Brave are ready to do their thing. Trevor Schofield, the quarterback, only a sophomore, but he has a cannon. Showing off the deep ball, he puts it right in the basket for Cooper Smith and get the Brave on the board for their first touchdown of the game. Now, Nampa was ready to respond. Their triple option finally getting off the ground this season. Huge run to the outside to pick up the first down as the Bulldogs get to midfield, get some momentum going, but then that Brave defense is going to step up. They got some trouble with the snap. Boise pounces on it. They're going to take over. Hey, it's a historic start to the year. Boise is 4-0 to start the season. 49-14 tonight. They win over Nampa.
Bora and Boise, both 4-0 to start the season. I wonder if it's ever happened. If it has, it's been a long, long time. Okay, how about a little Thursday night football as we go to last night? Undefeated, at least for a moment here. Mountain View hosting Owyhee. We picked this one up with the Mavs leading 3-0 in the first quarter. Matt Irwin calls his own number, goes right through the heart of the Mountain View defense. The Storm Thunder out in front, 7-0. Now the Mavs would fire right back. Justin McGee off play action, pump fakes once, twice, then heaves it up to Tyler Weaver. That moves the sticks. Later in the drive, Storm linebacker Gage Hawes is like, you might want to consider a different route to the end zone. Stones the running back there down near the goal line. On the next play, the Mavs do figure it out. Dennis Williams powers his way across the goal line. That made it a 10-7 ball game in favor of the Mavs. Now, with 2 minutes to go before halftime, Nathan Bingham drops back into coverage and comes up with a pick right here. He would roll down to the 31-yard line and set up this. Sophomore Henry Nelson launches one up to Weaver, who would come down with it in the end zone. Now, at this point in time, I had to leave the game, and the Storm are probably glad because it was all Owyhee after this one. They go on the road, pick up a huge victory, 24-17 the final. The Owyhee Storm back in the win column this week. An impressive showing by them, Brady.
You know, they had an actual storm, too, a lightning delay in that game, right?
Had to survive it. Now, I'm kind of curious what it was like, and the good news is the boys decided to join us in studio tonight. How we doing, gentlemen? We good? We good? Jack, I'm going to begin with you, man. You guys had a tough task going on the road on a short week, coming off kind of a tough loss. How good did that win feel last night against Mountain View?
It felt pretty good, especially with losing to them the past 2 years. It's definitely been something we've had on our mind.
So, Caden, I'm going to turn to you now. So, I don't mean to bring it up, but you guys lose at home to Boise, and I think that kind of after that game there might have been some people that wrote you off. As Geno Smith said, y'all decided not to write back. Take me inside what practice was like coming out of that Boise game to get ready for Mountain View.
Yeah, so after the loss, our head coach brought us into a meeting and said some really good stuff and challenged us to have the best week of practice we've ever had. And we lived up to that challenge, had a really great week. Offense and defense got super chippy there on Tuesday, but practice was intense all week, and we came to that game pretty confident with a lot of just ready for the game.
You mean chippy between each other?
Yeah, it was getting really chippy between offense and defense because we were just both going so hard at each other. So
competitive fire's burning.
Yeah, you love to see that. Hey, Matt, I want to ask you, because you have been the starting quarterback at Owyhee since the school began their football program. It, to me, seems like you guys have taken a step further every year. Tell me about this team. What's working for you guys as you continue to kind of climb the ranks of the SIC?
We just have been doing our own thing, like working on our own craft. We've just been trying to focus on ourselves the whole time and just keep improving every year and showing out this year.
Ryan, You guys got a new head coach this year, and I've been a fan of Jason Burton for quite some time. Knew him when he was turning around the program at Bora. He left the Treasure Valley for a couple of years, but now he is back. What is Coach Burton like as a leader, and how is he impacting the locker room?
I mean, it's a whole lot of energy in there. Like, you'll have your own little quiet time, but like when it's time to go and it's really time to like get ready for game time or even practice sometimes or most of the time, I mean, it's full of energy in there. He'll put a speaker in there, a loud one, and just get us all bumping.
Jack, I mean, kind of the same thing, man. What is your take on Coach Burton, and has he made a difference for you guys as you've gotten off to one of your best starts in your young program's history?
Yeah, he's definitely held us to a high standard. He knows what we're capable of, and especially in the summer, the word of the, oh crap.
I want to ask because I came out to your practice, and hearing a Jason Burton post-practice speech, I was amped up. I was ready to run through a wall. I don't even play on the team. What does it look like at halftime if you need to get it going? What does he have? Some catchphrases or something he throws out at you guys?
No, he's all business.
All business.
All business.
All business.
All business. So now it doesn't get any easier. Caden, Eagle is up next, and I heard that you guys were out, checking out the Mustangs. How big of a challenge do you guys have on your hands here next week?
They're a great team. I think it'll be a really fun matchup. We have them at home, so we'll hope we can get the job done, but it's going to be a tough fight.
What's it like playing at your guys' house there, Caden? I mean, you guys got some of the coolest facilities probably in the state of Idaho. You guys got an awesome, fan base. What's it like playing at home, and where do you think your home field advantage stacks up compared to some of these other 5A SIC teams?
I think our student section is top in the state for sure. We'll definitely be out there in force on Friday night next week, but it'll be fun. It's an electric environment, so.
Yeah, in fact, it seems like there's more fans than ever before. I know you guys are working on expanding the bleachers in the stadium, but do you feel that difference between, as the years kind of stack up, the home support you guys are getting?
Yeah, I think especially with how we've started this season, I think people are optimistic for how the season's going to go, so they want to come support us and watch us.
Yeah, Ryan, what is the goal of this team? How high can you guys fly?
The goals of this team is, obviously get to playoffs with a really solid record going in and just doing what we can from there, playing as a team, playing as a whole, and really just getting to that end goal.
Mm-hmm. Matt, for you, I noticed you're quite a bit bigger this year. Obviously you missed some time last year. You got banged up, and obviously that's unfortunate. Having to step away from the game like that, what did that do for the fire that burns in you to get back this year and be better than ever?
Yeah, it just helped during this off season. I just wanted to work, especially with being late to recruit and everything. I just really wanted to come out this season and show out.
How much better do you think you are? Because I look at the offense this year compared to last year, and you guys are often in rhythm, and it seems like you're playing with confidence.
Yeah, I think as a whole, we improved a lot. Like, we've just been grinding this whole off season. The summer was great. Went up to University of Idaho, had a great team camp, and just been improving ever since.
As we've kind of talked about it throughout the night, it looks like the SIC is wide open. I mean, how fun has it been to watch all these upsets going on this season and know that, the road to a conference championship is kind of in your own hands?
Yeah, it's good to see. It's very unexpected. There's a lot of things going on in the conference that I was not ready for, and so we're pumped up.
Yeah, the parity this year is insane, guys. I mean, it is. You control your own destiny. I think it's going to be an awesome last 6 weeks of the season. You guys got a chance. That's all you can really ask for. Jack, can I have a little bit of fun with you for a second?
Yes, sir.
Did you say "aw crap" earlier because that's what you're used to opponents hearing when you run at them?
Usually.
Guys, this has been so much fun. We appreciate you joining us in studio tonight on Friday Night Football. And make sure you give Coach Burton our best. Tell him that we're certainly proud of him and what he's doing over there at Owyhee. And can't wait to see what you guys should be game of the week next week, right? I mean, you guys going over to Eagle. Eagle's undefeated. You guys 3-1. Should be game of the week, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, game of the week.
I
We'll
think
see.
so.
Yeah.
I'll vote for it.
I'll vote for it too. Guys, go enjoy whatever is left of your Friday evening, and we appreciate you joining us in studio.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, let's get back to some highlights here as we continue to kind of move through the classifications. You know, Columbia off to a wonderful start this season. The Wildcats were leading the Riverhawks 14-7 at this point in time when we pick it up. The Wildcats in scoring position, but Jared Payne throws a pick to Riverhawks defensive back Cade McIntyre, and must have been a little miscommunication there. Either way, the Riverhawks now wasting no time going downfield. Connor Willis stretching the defense and finding Jarrett Huff behind the defense. He comes up with a tough catch despite the fact 3 defenders were around him. Then Jarrett Huff now going with a shorter pass this time. That's Jaden Massey that runs the ball all the way inside the 5-yard line, getting deep inside to the red zone. And from there, Massey just keeps it himself this time behind that big offensive line, pushing the pile. That tied the game at 14. This was a barn burner. It would eventually go to overtime, and Canyon Ridge ekes out a close win, 40-34, the final of this one. How about homecoming week? Already homecoming week? My goodness. The Skyhawks from Skyview taking the field here, and their quarterback here, Cash Buse, throws a bomb to Mason Cron, who makes an impressive catch in the end zone. How did that one hold up? My goodness. The Hawks go up 7-0. Now, their defense kind of flying around here a little bit. Leon Evans runs through without even being blocked. Nails Valley View's Briggs Mailer here for the play. And now it's the Hawks going back to work on offense. Check it out. Working the sideline. Barely stays in bounds, but they give him the touchdown. Cash Buse calling his own number a little bit later in this ball game, and that would bring it up to 14-0 in favor of the Hawks over the Falcons. Skyview actually goes on to shut out Valley View tonight, 45-0, the final. Ooh.
To Homedale we go for some interstate high school football. Land of the Free, home of the Trojans, as they take on the Baker City Bulldogs. Head coach Matt Holtree looking to have another big season, and they've been playing well. Offense, defense, and special teams tonight. We're going to start with the defense because number 11, defensive end Carson Auckland, would be wrecking havoc all over the field tonight. Opening drive, quarterback Paul Hobson steps in the pocket, gets sacked. We're going to see a lot more coming from him later. Let's move to the Trojan offense. Quarterback Dylan Fine would drop a dime for Rafael Cuenca. Sorry, I definitely butchered that one. I'm sorry, Rafael. The Bulldogs jump out to a quick 14-0 lead on that touchdown pass. Let's go right back to the defense, though. Carson Auckland going right back at the quarterback. He gets his second sack of the first quarter. He was all over the field tonight. We're going to go right over to the next drive, give the ball back to Homedale. Dylan Fine taking the handoff to halfback Luke Henry, but guess what? He's actually going to be the one passing it. Finds a wide open Danny Lamel for the score. Homedale looking fantastic tonight, looking fantastic all season. They win it big, 62-14.
How about we take a trip on down to the Magic Valley? Are we going to do that?
We should have it in. It's actually loading right now. Do you want to stall? Do you want to?
I mean, showing the highlights. Absolutely. And guess what? We got them for you. Kimberly hosted Fruitland this evening. Brady turned these highlights around while I was reading the last highlights. That's how this works here on Friday Night Football. On the second drive of the game here for the Bulldogs, their quarterback Kay Larson finds his man Jackson May, who reels it in for the touchdown. That made it 7-0 in favor of Kimberly. Moments later now, Fruitland with it on offense. The defensive pressure just way too much. That's Trace Mayo getting the sack. And then now it's back to the Dogs here. Larson looking all the time in the world to throw this thing. But it's Fruitland's defender that comes down with it. He takes it back down inside the red zone. That Bulldogs defense would rise up, force a turnover themselves on downs. Kimberly, a nice win over Fruitland, 20-3, the final of that contest.
Hey, Fruitland's look great this season, though. They're gonna bounce back in a big way.
That beautiful shot.
Yeah, blue and orange sky sunset tonight in Marsing. We'll see if that's gonna bode well for former Boise State and NFL standout Shane McClellan coaching the Huskies.
Working the headset.
As they take on the Payette Pirates. We get started. Marsing down early, facing a third down, but Quarterback Jace Chavez would take it himself, run downfield into the end zone for the score. That tied the game up at 14 points apiece. On to the next drive for Marsing. Jace makes a quick short pass to Levi Puga, and he would take the short pass all the way down the field. Pirates chasing him as he shows off the speed, turns it into a touchdown, and gives Marsing the lead. Now, right before halftime, Marsing driving again. We're going to give it right back to their quarterback, Jace Chavez, lofting one way high up into the end zone, looking to add another touchdown. But guess what? It's the Pirates defensive back, Anthony Fugate, coming up with it for a huge interception right before halftime. We don't have the score in this one yet. Please send us an email. Let us know on Twitter. You can go at KTVBHSS on the Twitter DMs, or I guess it's X now, right?
Yeah, X.
That's the new thing now. I'm not used to it yet. All right, we got one more for you tonight. Let's show you what was going on at Nampa Christian High School. Parma on the road, looking for a big upset tonight because it was a hot start for the home team. Take a look at this deep ball. Aiden Thompson hits Hunter Hafer, and from there, big time right there. From there, we're going to see Matthew Navarez. It takes a second effort, but he's able to break across the goal line. Nampa's defense was also phenomenal tonight. We'll show you that right here. Just nowhere to go. Swarming the ball. That's going to give them the ball back with about 20 seconds left in the game. But guess what? Nampa Christian really only needed about 10 seconds. Second play from scrimmage. Navarez gets the pass from Thompson, takes this one all the way to the house. No score yet. But please go ahead and shoot us an email, same as our last game. We'll get that updated as soon as we have it on KTVB.com.
Okay, so now let's take a look at some other scores from around the area. How about Bishop Kelly going down to Ridgeview and putting up 47 on a Thursday night contest? Big time victory for the Knights. Burley and Shelley doing battle. Shelley, an impressive 47-14 victory over Burley. My goodness. How about Pocatello putting a two-win Twin Falls 20-7 the final. Declo knocking off Buell 20-6. We continue to move along here. Melba beating Gooding by, well, a good margin, 28-6 the final. Vale knocking off New Plymouth 45-12. This one, Brady, how about this score? Lower right on your screen. Emmett traveling all the way up and beating Lake City 17-13.
Yeah, when you jump up a classification, I guess it's always a surprise when you can go ahead and get the win, especially on the road and very deep on the road, heading way up north to the Coeur d'Alene area. But I'll tell you what, from what I've seen from Emmett so far, they're looking good. They were a playoff team last year, looking to keep it rolling.
Ever since that coach arrived a few years ago, man, he has really turned that into a powerhouse program. Garden Valley beating Castleford 45-18 in that contest. Might be all the scores we have for you. I think it is.
I'll give you one more. Shout out to our roots. Battle of the Bridges tonight.
I knew you weren't going to allow us to finish the show without mentioning this game.
42-26. That's kind of how it always goes.
That's actually Clarkson.
That's actually a good effort from Clarkson.
Closer.
Huge differences in enrollment.
Yeah.
The depth really makes a difference. One of these days, though, the Bantams are going to come around and win it.
The old fighting Bantams, man. What was it, Dave Young, I think, was the coach? I can't remember. It's been a million years since I worked. Dave Curtis. I just got that one. Dave Curtis was the head coach when I was up there. But yeah, anyways, a fun night, man. Getting back to the parity in the 5A SIC, it's almost unpredictable every week right now, Brady.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's, lucky you, I have to be the one to put our media vote together, and it's tough.
Yeah.
Because you take a look at, Boise beat Owyhee.
Yeah.
Owyhee beat Mountain View. Mountain View beat Meridian.
And Rocky.
And then Meridian beat Middleton tonight as well, who's also very much in the mix.
I mean, come on now.
The little circle it's making is kind of insane.
And Boise's on top of the circle, whatever they are. Center of the circle? I don't know, but they're undefeated. And so was Bora at that, right now too. But again, just for what you said right there, Boise going on the road beating Owyhee beating Mountain View beating Rocky Mountain and Meridian. I know it feels weird because of the history, and if you've followed high school football in the state of Idaho for as long as I have, Boise hasn't had a lot of good years, and that's putting it pretty darn kindly. This year is just different for them. I'm going to ask you, Brady, are they worthy of a top 5 vote right now? I'm putting you on the spot, man.
It's getting hard to say no. And coming into this one,
their slate's about to get a lot more difficult, and I do get that. And so they're going to get tested here. But, man, judge them for what they've done. My goodness.
I might butcher this stat, but I feel like I read somewhere they hadn't had a 3-0 start since I think it was the late 80s was the last time they did that, which is already insane how historic this has been. And I'm sure a 4-0, and as we keep going down, if they can keep it up, I mean, they're reaching marks that the school hasn't seen in decades and maybe ever if they can keep it rolling.
I know they got some tough opponents. I believe Mountain View. I mean, some of the perennial powers are still left on their schedule. They still have CUNA, though. CUNA struggled a little bit tonight with Bora, the Lions undefeated. So there's certainly a chance that they can, fight for that 5th victory. And, I mean, as it stands right now, I think they got a decent shot to make a playoff.
The playoff push is what's going to be really interesting. You got teams like Bora, who last year just barely missed it, already off to an undefeated start. Boise off to an undefeated start. You take a look at a team like Meridian, they almost need to start playing perfect the rest of the way through. And if you would have asked me at the beginning of the season, I would have thought it would have been a guarantee that they were not only going to be a playoff team, but among the top of the SIC contending for that regular season title. I still think they're going to be great, by the way, especially based off what I saw tonight and just knowing the weapons that they have. But it's really fun heading into next week and having no idea what's going to happen.
I'm just saying, and I'm going to boldly predict this and confidently say it, Zeke Martinez is going to ruin some team's season this year.
Oh, absolutely.
He is a guy that I do not want to face in a tight game with the ball in his hands. He's a killer. He's got an awesome mentality to his ball game, not afraid of anything. By the way, Shane McClellan just got back to me. Final score, Marsing 30. Who'd they play? Payette? 20. So Marsing picks up another win on the young season here. A 30-20 victory over Payette. Good for the Huskies.
That's big.
Shea McClellan. Hey, he said he's starting to turn this thing a little bit out there when I talked to him prior to the season. So it is fun to see him really make an impact on a place that he grew up, really cared about. He's out there coaching just because he loves the game, loves his community, and man, he is paying it back right now for sure out in Marsing.
Love to see a lot of these coaches who are sticking around the Treasure Valley.
It's
and,
crazy.
Giving forward to the next generation.
I literally feel like every week it's almost like somebody new pops up or somebody that went away. Bo Martin left the state of Idaho for a little bit. Now he's back on Timberline staff. That Boise staff, a heavy Bronco influence with Mike Altieri as a head coach, Sam Whitney, a former edge rusher for the Broncos. So yeah, it is certainly a lot of fun to see those guys hang around this awesome state and try to raise and bring up the next generation of high school football players, Brady.
Yeah, and it seems like, based on what we've been seeing, Idaho high school football feels like it's as good as it's ever been.
You kind of look up, and we have a lot of fun here covering Friday Night Football, right? It's a little insane to think that we are almost halfway through the season.
It's almost a little sad for me.
It's a little sad.
I feel like football just started, and there's an emptiness when it ends.
I know, right? The energy of Friday nights is tough to match. So we are about halfway through, 4 weeks in. Is that including the 0 week? We're 3 weeks in, including the 0 week, kind of 4 weeks in.
Yeah, we still got a long haul ahead of us.
We got
some bye weeks for some teams.
We got 5 to 6 weeks to go, depending on how many teams make the playoffs. It has certainly been a fun ride so far. If you've missed any of the highlights, make sure you check them out at KTVB.com. We're posting highlights almost instantly, so I think we're the only ones that do this as often as we do it and as frequently and as efficiently as we do it. So make sure you jump on over to KTVB.com and share those highlights with your family and friends because it's fun to do that, right?
Yeah.
Also, we heard a story earlier this week that our producer, Danny Alsop, worked on about the referee shortage, and it really goes into depth explaining kind of the chaos right now with the schedule, why so many games have been moved off of Friday nights onto Thursday nights, and even some to Saturdays. And so it does a great job of explaining why that's happening and, man, how desperate they are to get referees right now because there is quite a big shortage. I can't remember exactly, but somewhere around 130 officials. I mean, it's quite a gap of what they have and what they need, Brady.
That's right. I mean, they're looking for a lot of people to volunteer. It's very important. That way it can be Friday night lights, not Thursday night lights, not Saturday afternoon lights. You talk to a lot of refs. It's very rewarding. They really enjoy it. The fans got to be thanking the refs. It is a thankless job. They're not going to get every call perfectly. They don't get instant replay.
Yeah.
We don't get to go show them our footage and tell them what happened.
Yeah.
But
on top of that, too, like these numbers that we're talking about, the shortage of officials, like in a typical game, I believe it's 6 to 7 officials you want to see on a field, and oftentimes, these high school games are operating with 4. So when we talk about missing a call, when you're missing a number of officials, it really is hard to be in position to see some of these things that are going on. And so it's worthy of noting that, and to give these guys a little bit of a break sometimes. They're not going to be perfect.
I think they're doing great. I haven't seen any bad calls for the most part this season.
I haven't seen any.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. We do appreciate our referees, though. Hey, if you're paying attention to the countdown to kickoff for Boise State, we are closing in 17 hours, 46 minutes away from kickoff, which means 16 hours, 46 minutes away from the beginning of the Bronco Roundup Game Day Show. Join Brady and I live from Albertson Stadium tomorrow. We're going to talk with Boise State Director of Athletics Jeremiah Dickey. Brady's got an awesome story he's working on about Ahmed Hassanin, and just recapping the amazingness of Ashton Genty and the fact that I do think this is just the beginning for that talented little human.
Oh man, I hope so.
You should call him a little human. He's a little short, but he's jacked out of his mind.
Yeah, he could take you. I would be careful with your words there.
I wouldn't want to try to tackle him. Nobody wants to try to tackle him. UW didn't want to try to tackle him. Again, tomorrow, 4 o'clock, you can watch on Channel 7 or KTVB Plus. We got options for you, so make sure you join Brady and myself, either streaming on your phone, your laptop, or just watching it on the good old-fashioned traditional TV set, right? But yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun, and I can't wait. And I got to show you something as we wrap up the show.
I'm very excited about this. We've been hearing
know you
about
are.
it a lot over this summer. I was really wondering what it was going to look like.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see it in person, but go ahead and show them.
So this is a look at the new LED blue lighting system that you're going to get a chance to witness in person if you are going to the game tomorrow at Albertson Stadium. They installed these over the summer. They are calling it Light the Blue, and as you can see, everything is blue. If Boise State wins tomorrow's game against UCF, this is what the field will look like at this exact time tomorrow night. They are going to beam this thing right through the heart of the city with blue lights in the sky. You got blue uniforms, you got blue field. It only makes sense now to have blue lights. I can't imagine what opponents are thinking about this. Actually, I can.
Is Boise State into the color blue? I haven't picked up on that yet.
Only slightly, kind of. But I posted this on Twitter, and actually it was kind of funny. There was a UCF fan that is already going to work at their AD down at UCF saying, y'all need to invest in some more into the stadium immediately. G5 school is putting us to shame. Wowza. I agree with them.
G5, like they weren't literally G5
like a month ago. Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Yeah, whatever, though. But I'll take the compliment while we can. And by the way, I got to point this out. Shea McClellan shared one more thing with me. They hadn't won more than one game for 10 years. They finally broke the trend. I didn't realize that I knew it was bad. I didn't realize it was that bad at Marsing. Hadn't won more than one game for 10 years, and now they got a few victories to go brag about out there in Marsing. Congrats.
Yeah, it's not
to
just
Shea
the
McClellan
5A level, man. Parity's going all the way down, all the way through all the ranks.
You love to see it.
Yeah, it's more fun that way.
And we love to see you. So let's do this again next Friday. Week 3 plus the 0 week, week 4 of Friday Night Football, folks. It was an awful lot of fun. Again, check out KTVB.com. We thank our wonderful photographers for getting out and helping us put this show together. We absolutely could not do it without them. They are simply the best. For Brady, Frederick, I am Jay Tust. We'll see you next week right here on Friday Night Football.